Hi everyone, I'm Abraham, and today I want to quickly talk about Git and GitHub. Okay, so like we all know, Git is a version control system. It helps developers to track changes in their code, roll back if something breaks, and work safely on different features at the same time. GitHub is a collaboration platform built on top of Git. It allows organizations to bring together teams, manage projects, and control who can do what inside the repository. So I will be doing a little demonstration of my learning so far about Git and GitHub. So stay tuned as I continue. So the first thing that I did was to create an organization. So I have an account with GitHub. Right? So what I did was to create an organization. So I created an organization, and what I did next was to invite members. I invited 4 members in total, and including myself. We're all four together, which I am the owner, and the others are members. So they are members. So the next thing that I want to do is that I want to create teams for the members. Like I said before, um, GitHub is the collaboration platform that brings together teams. So I want to create my teams. I want to create my teams here. So I want to have like two teams. Like um, I want to have a DevOps team, and also a security team. So these DevOps, they are going to be in charge of they're going to be in charge of managing the CI/CD. So they'll be in charge of. Okay, let me just give it a description. They will be in charge of. So they are going to be in charge of managing CI/CD and pipeline deployment. So I'm going to make it visible, and yeah. So I'm just going to create the team. So I've created the team. Now I want to add members to the team. So I'm just going to select and let me add a member. Let me add Google Gen. So let me add this one. I'm going to add to as a member. So let me quickly verify. Okay, so I verified. Now I have a member on the team, which is the DevOps teams. The DevOps team is this member belongs to a DevOps team. Now I want to create another team. Let me create another team. Like I said, if I want to create two teams, let me create another. So I'm going to create a new team. I'm going to create a new team. I'm going to call it front end. Okay, let me just call it developers. So they can be either front end or back end developers. So let me see developers. So these developers basically they're going to be in charge of they're going to be in charge of building the user interface, and they're also going to handle the backend logic, handle the logics, the logics of the application. Okay, so they're going to handle the logic. So I'm just going to leave it visible and create a team. Create a team. So this group, I'm going to add like 2 members to the group. Like I said, we have backend and frontend. So I'm going to add 2 members to the group, are inclusive. So we're going to be 3 on this group. So I'm just going to add. Um, let me add. So I'll just add a member to the group. Okay, I've added to the group. Let me add another member to the group, and then let me add another member. Let me add another member to the group. Sorry. Okay, so let me add the member to the group. Okay. So I have two teams, and I have 2 teams. So the DevOps team. So currently I have 2 teams: the developers team and the DevOps team. Now the next thing that I want to do now, I want to create repository, then push some files to the repository, and later assign each of the repository to work on them. Further, okay, now let me add teams to the let me add repository to what's it called. So I'm going to create a repo for the 2 teams to start working. Now I'm going to create the first repository. So I'm just going to call it let me call it dev-repo, development repo. So which will be for the dev team. So I'll just give it a description. This repo is for the development team. I'll just say this for the dev team, and I'm going to make it public. And then create repo. So I'll create a repo. So let me go to my VS Code and push a file. So let me just look for a file that I can push. Just look for a file. Okay, let me push this file. I'll push this file. So I'm just going to push this file. Yeah. So let's start the pushing. So now let's go to switch to Git bash. Then we're not going to take so much time. We just initialize. Just going to initialize. Then we add git add. We add git add. Then the next thing we commit. So git commit -m, and let me say my first push, and just give it what you. Then we've done that. We're going to move from master to main. So we say git branch, change the branch from master to main branch dash m. That's a main. So we move from master to main. So move to main. And the next thing I want to do now, let's add the repository where we would like to push to. I want to push to this repository. So we add it to it. Add it to it. Okay, so then the last step is going to push. So say git push origin main. Then we push. Then we push. So this is for the. This is going to be for the dev team. For the dev team, and so we've not assigned. Though we are going to assign repository to different teams. Okay, so we finally pushed it to a repo. So it's going to be here. So just have it right here, right here. It's right here. Okay, so and let's create another repo for. We're going to call that for. We're going to give that to the dev team. So to the DevOps team. So we have our development repo. So let's just call this one DevOps DevOps repo. So say this this repo is for the DevOps team. So anything they want to actually do, they'll just do it here. The whatever they want to just do, they'll do it and send it back to the organization repo, back to the nation. So let me look for another file and push. I'll just close this folder. I'll close this folder. I'll just look for like what I'm doing here is a demonstration. It's not really a real life scenario. So let me just have a file that I worked on initially for Moda. And okay, I'm just going to push this one. I'm just going to push this. I'm just going to push this to the devops-repo. So git bash. So I'm just going to initialize like after git bash. Sorry, git init. So git add. So the next one we have to do git commit dash m first push. Okay, then the next thing that we need to do, we have to switch from master to main. Git branch main. So the next thing I want to do, so like I said, like I did initially, we just copy the repo where we want to. So I'll just paste it back here. Then the last step is to git push origin main. So I'll just push it to the repo. Okay, so we finally pushed it and let's check it out. So we should have our so we have it here. So this is it here. There's a file. There's a file. There's a file. So the next thing that I want to do now, I want to assign repos to each team to actually start working. That they'll start working on the repo like yes instantly. So I'll just go to the repo, and open the repo, click the repo. And I'm going to give them access. Yeah, I'm going to assign them to each of the repos. So I'm just going to I'll go to collaboratory. So based on the what's it called, by default they all have read access. So every members on that team by default have access to read. Okay, now I actually have a separate GitHub account here, which I actually added as a member, which is for this account. So which is for this account. So this is my other account. This is my other account. So I'm a member here. Now you can see that I'm actually a member here. So I have access to all the repo. Yeah, I have access to all the repo. So let me open the file. So this is the file. This is the file. So I have access to read. I have access to read. I can read. But I don't have access to write. I don't have access to edit. I can only fork the repo. I can only make a duplicate of the repo, work on it, and push it back to the organization, and then the organization can then check the changes if it actually correlates with what the organization is actually doing. Let's say for instance, let me give an illustration of the devops-repo. Devops-repo is moda.html. So I want to copy. Let's copy and let's see what we are actually working on. I'm just going to let me go back and copy part. Supposed to copy part and just access the repo to see the content of the repo. Either it's actually going through a development stage. So this is the content of the repo. Is actually a Moda. So when you click it, it brings out a content. So let's say it's actually going through a development stage and I happen to be a front-end developer, be among the front-end developer or the DevOps teams. So like I said before, by default, they all have access to read, but they don't have access to write. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to fork the repository. I'm going to just make a duplicate of the repository. So I've made a duplicate of the repository. Now I have access to it. But any changes I make will not reflect on the main repository because I'm not the owner. So when I make any changes here, I'm just going to make commit changes and make a pull request. So when the admin checks the repo and he sees that, okay, what we are doing actually correlates with what this man actually did, which is a member, which I'm a member also. when it checks in, it will now approve the pull request. So what I want to do now, I just want to make a little changes here, which was not done initially. I'm just going to say modal content for e-commerce store. So I'm just going to make a change here, and then next thing I'm going to do. So this is the change that I made. So I'm just going to commit the change. Just going to commit the change. Let's wait for a while. Now I'm just going to write a description here. So I added a content, to the repo, content to the repo. Okay, so I'll just propose the change. I'm going to propose the change, and so I propose the change. So you can see now. So then I'm going to create a pull request. I'm just going to create a pull request. Create a pull request. So updated modal header for e-commerce. I need added. Okay, so this is actually the change I made. So I'm just going to create a pull request. I'm going to create a pull request. I'm going to create a pull request. So it's also called branching. So it's also called branching. So I've done a pull request. Now this pull request is going to reflect on the admin, page, on the admin dashboard. This is the request. This is the pull request. So this is the pull request. Update modal header for e-commerce contest. It's supposed to be content. So I'm just giving an illustration though. But mind you, this is the main what's it called? This is the main content. Now, when we go through the main content, you wouldn't find any changes that was made here. Like the admin has right to actually has all the right to make changes to it. Yeah, you can actually edit the file. This is the admin, so you can make changes to the file. You can edit the file. You can do anything to the file. So, okay, let me just continue. So I'll just commit change. I'll just commit change. Okay. So the admin has access. So he's going to just go through the pull request and see what is there. So it's when he actually agrees with what the developer or the DevOps team actually sent before the changes can be made on the main file. So you're just going to open the what's it called, the request, and go through the request. What's actually the content of the request? Added the content to the repo, updated modal. So that's the request, and all of that. So it's just going to merge the request. So it's going to confirm merge. So when it confirms this merge, then it will reflect on the main what's it called? Successfully merge this pull request, may close this issue. All right. So we are just going to go back to the main repo and see what has been done to the repo. So merge pull request. So from this guy, which is a member of the team. So let's just check the pull request and see. You can see now modal content for e-commerce store has actually been done here. Now the essence of this what's it called, this pull request and all of that is that so that issues wouldn't actually come up for any of the repositories, so that they don't mess up the what's it called, the repo. They don't mess up the repo. The repo may actually be in the development stage, and so that you don't mess up the repo. That is why it's actually the assigned roles actually matters. When roles are assigned, they're actually assigned for people to actually read, write, and also do so much. And the owner has the right, has the privileges to write, to actually approve requests before that request will be made to any of the repo. Okay, so that's all for that. Now let's go for the development repo and also add a team to the development repo. So I'm just going to come to the development repo and also add members to. We can add members to the team. We can add a team to the repo. It all depends. Like here we can actually create a new team here and also add people to the team. We can add people to the team. Like I don't have this person on a team on a repo yet, so I'm just going to add to a repo. Just need to add a repo. So what role do I want to actually assign to this person? I can decide to add a write role or assign a read role. I can just assign, probably I can also assign admin. So admin means that the person actually have rights to do so many things, to write, read, delete, and also actually do the same what's it called? Perform the same privileges with the same roles as the owner of the organization. So I'm just going to give it a write role so that you can actually make changes to the repo. All right, so I'm just going to add a team. So I've actually added, seen I've added a member to the team as the role I gave to what is the right role. So I can also give it an organization role. You can see now one member to the as direct access. You can also add a team to the what's it called? Also add a team. Let me add a developer team to it, and I'm going to give them just a write role. Sorry, a read role, a read access role, or a try actually make like manage issues and pull requests without write access. So that's actually let me just give it to this team, and that's it. So that's all about managing of role, repository, creating of what's it called, members, creating of teams, and all of that. Okay, so now to actually automate this process, we are going to be automating this process using a bash scripting. So you're going to stay with me while I also walk you through how to do the bash scripting. Thank you very much. Just work with me.